Thanks, Senator Blackburn. I will preside while Senator Durbin is voting and recognize myself. To all the witnesses, thank you for being here today. As the chair of the Commerce Subcommittee on Consumer Protection, I've been focused on the role of the Consumer Product Safety Commission and our consumer product safety laws, particularly in the struggle to get online marketplaces to take seriously their responsibility to recall dangerous items. We have a procedure now to protect people, recall dangerous products, but all too often the online marketplaces feel they have no responsibility to inform consumers or to in any way participate in recalls. Just as one example, in April of 2019, I wrote to Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist about the fact that they were not effectively preventing the sale of recalled products, including rock and play sleepers that have been linked to 32 infant deaths. They have been laggard, slow, inconsistent in taking on responsibilities that other sellers and retailers observe. And I am now considering reforms that should be made that would strengthen the CPSC. One of them is that we need to make sure online marketplaces are covered by the product safety and recall laws. So let me ask the witnesses, all of you, what role you think that the CPSC can have, along with the FTC, in enforcing these laws. And I should just emphasize, we have a lot of good laws. Often they're unenforced. We've spent a lot of time making new laws that are then unenforced. Frustrating? Yes. Dangerous? Yes. We need to focus on enforcement and give the FTC and the CPSC the tools they need to assure that the law is more than just dead letter. So let me go down the panel.
Thank you. I've had conversations with CPSC and shared my information about the products that we have and the infringers that we see. I think that CPSC does an effective job at looking at the ports and bulk shipments that are coming into the United States, but I think they're very challenged, as is the Postal Service, at the single parcels that come through third-party sellers into the United States. It's just a torrent of small envelopes, and it's very hard for them to develop a strategy to interdict them or prevent them from reaching consumers' hands. I don't know, it's sort of outside the scope of my knowledge what we might do about it, but to me, that's where I see a major problem.
Ms. Camel?
The areas that we research focus primarily on trademark counterfeiting and then any overlap with consumer product safety issues. So I think it's important for platforms or anyone who is in the business of providing a space for consumers to purchase product, that whatever laws are in place, they uphold, whether they're brick and mortar or whether they're an online space.
Senator, I think this is something I would like to come and talk to you about more, but I will share that when we are notified of recalls or made aware of recalls, we do pull the product down in most cases where we can, and also we try to inform the consumer. In some cases, when you try to inform the consumer, the product may have been bought 2 or 3 years ago, and the email address, whatever we may have for that particular consumer, we may not have, or they may not be able to be contacted. But that is something that we are working on, and we take it very seriously.
Well, I apologize, Senator. That's beyond my role at CVS Health. I'm not familiar with some of the laws that you mentioned earlier, but I would assume that we would be in support of any action that helps protect consumers.
Thank you. Let me ask one more question. One of the obstacles to effective accountability currently is Section 230, which in effect creates broad immunity for the platforms. Let me ask you, Ms. Camel, whether you're familiar with the impediments of Section 230 to effective accountability to consumers on the part of the platforms. And I'm an advocate of reforming Section 230. We've managed in certain discrete areas to do it. We are proposing additional measures. Senator Graham and I have a proposal, which we've introduced in past Congresses, called the Earn It Act. It's bipartisan. It passed unanimously from the Judiciary Committee. Just one example of what we can do to impose greater accountability if we reform Section 230.
Thank you for the question. I'm very aware of Section 230. It's not part of my current research, but I'm happy to provide you with some follow-up afterwards.
That would be great. And anyone else who wants to add any views on Section 230, I'd welcome it. Thank you. Senator Hawley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all the witnesses.